POP 90.3 FM, and I always say that we are the best radio station around. My name is Jude Ikami Jude. So welcome on board. Just a few information for you before I roll this afternoon. About 11.2 million active subscribers. Identity model, that is the SIM cards, yet to be linked to their owners, and of course the national identity numbers, NINs, will be blocked today. So if you are part of 11.2 million persons who are who haven't linked their NIN to their SIM cards, please go and do so. But then I think the banks are filled up and everywhere is choking right now. Because telecom operators confirmed the current situation, and they said that this is in compliance with the directive by the Nigerian Communications Commission, NCC. Well, just see if you can still help yourself, okay? See if you can still go ahead and fix things. 11th hour, right? Just try, or else, in case you have your salary account, forget about it, except or until you do the needful. Yes. All right. The president Tinubu is in Lagos right now. Okay. Babajide Sanwo-Olu had in December 2023, when he unveiled the Lagos Rail Mass Transit Red Line Ikeja overpass, promised that the rail will be unveiled by Tinubu before the end of the first quarter of 2024. And so today is that day. It has been unveiled today. So the president is in town, and traffic here and there. Maybe those out there will give me a call and tell me what it is like actually, this afternoon in Lagos, especially if you are on the mainland. Maybe you have to tell us what it is like out there. Okay, let's talk more now. Let me give you some more information as we sit here. Yeah, this information, let me just drop it. Let me drop it quickly. As regards the Oronsaye's report. But then, okay, before that, let me hold on. I will bring you this information in a better way. Okay. In a better way. You're special, so I'll give it to you in a very special way. CP Chooks, like I said, is here. And CP, because you are a security personnel, a security expert, I want to ask you, the Senate is telling the federal government to recruit more police to combat kidnappings in Nigeria. I mean, recruit more police personnel to combat kidnappings in this country. Do you think that is what the Senate should be talking about at this point in time? Get more hands to combat kidnappings in Nigeria?
Well, what do I say? It appears the members of the Red Chamber, which is the Senate, just come up for plenary, and whatever comes into the mouth of one of them becomes an issue. What has engaging more hands or enlisting more hands to do with the issue of kidnapping? If they say yes, it's to boost the manpower needs of the police to combat the deteriorating security situation, yes, we understand. Not to be specific and tell us to help stem down kidnapping. It is not the number of policemen or personnel of other services, including the military, that will calm down the issue of kidnapping. Rather, there are a lot of factors that plays out. First and foremost, the communities will come out with one heart, and they will come out as a block and tell themselves the honest truth that this malaise we are having, are we ready to curb it? If we are ready to curb it, what is the way forward? There should be sincerity of purpose, where everybody will agree that we will not stomach this, and they walk in them towards that direction. And a situation where some will say, yes, we're going to fight the menace, another group is there singing discordant tune. That's not a solution. You see, this issue of intelligence, it will look as if it's overflowed.
Is it that we don't have enough men, on ground to combat, insecurity?
No, actually,
police, I'm talking about.
Actually, if you follow the United Nations ratio of 1 to 160, you come to find out that the Nigeria setting is far from getting to this prescribed standard. But having said that, it's good that we recruit, but it's not just recruiting to train them on the basics of policing.
Okay.
We need to acquire the technological and electronic equipments that are currently in vogue in other civilized climes, and then we begin to apply them here.
So it's about technology?
It's about technology, it's part of it. Because that's what will possibly through drones, you see some movement of persons, and when you see people who wear, for instance, military camouflage or police fatigue, and then when you look at the leg, what he's wearing on the leg is not in consonance with the standard. He will either wear sandal or wear slippers or wear ordinary shoe or canvas. Then you know that this one is not part of the security forces, because these ones are ragamuffins. They just that one they are wearing is to confuse.
Are you attributing that to training? I mean, is it lack of training? I'll call that, or
no, that's not the issue of training. Those people are not military personnel. I'm talking of all the BH and the insurgents. That's the way they dress.
Okay.
So the difference is always there. The difference is very clear. Some will wear bears, bears, and very thick mustache and all that.
Oh.
The only people that wear bears in uniform are the Navy, because of the peculiar nature of their job. That most times they are there in the sea or in the waters. For others, if you see any military man or policeman wearing BS, that means the person must have gotten an approval for exemption from the general rule, maybe based on medical or health grounds. But you see, when you see the BH, you don't need to be told. They look so aggressive and so daring. Even the one I see them on television and social media, I can imagine when people see them live, whether they can even survive, because these are people, any small thing, they are trigger happy. They can wipe out a village and it doesn't mean anything to them. So that scourge of kidnapping is a very disturbing phenomenon.
That's why I want to also touch on. Hold on. That's why I also want to touch on what happened in Zamfara.
Yes.
Where we hear that 30 worshippers were reportedly abducted from a mosque, in the headquarters of Safi local government area of Zamfara state. 30 worshippers abducted from a mosque. Now, should we be worried at this time? Like what the first question I ask you as regards having more men on ground, okay? Or you were talking about deploying technology.
Yes.
Okay? Now, what is the situation here? If you were in this area, what would you ask the government to do? 30 worshippers abducted. Daptu girls abducted. if you were in that situation, that environment, and you asked to foster, to bring about some level of sanity, what would you say? What would you do?
No, you see, I've said it times without number that first and foremost, the awareness has to be increased amongst the populace. So it is expected that the governors of those badly affected areas should engage the various communities constructively by creating platform or avenue where they have this talk shop or town hall meeting, and in the course of getting them together, you tell them the implication of harboring this type of menace, that they should not look at the language they speak or the religion that is their faith. What they should look at is their personal safety and the wider security of the length and breadth of the nation. So they need that awareness, and information is very key to tell them, look, people that are this are not friends of the state or friends of the public. Therefore, you see, in the course of giving them this information and awareness by way of continuous training and retraining, whether formally or informally, you are sending the message across to them that amongst you have very dangerous elements and they should not be accommodated. In other words, you're trying to tell them that if they see such strange elements, they are extremely dangerous, and there is no need for you to go and say you are going to confront them. Just get all the facts you can about them and pass it on to people who will process the information and work on it. And these are the law enforcement officers and their personnel. And you shouldn't be flippant about it, because you're endangering yourself and your family. Once you're flippant, you go and tell them in a beer parlor or burukutu joint that I'm the one who gave information that busted so and so camp. They'll come after you. If they miss the head, they can miss the leg. If they miss you, number one is that they were going to wipe out your family if they are there, and set your community ablaze for daring to go and pass information on them.
All right, let's cross quickly. I want us to move quickly this afternoon. The NLC this morning came out to tell us that they've called off their protest, and in fact, they said that the suspension of the protest was due to alleged threat, on the leadership of the Congress. After day one, day two, they're saying that there is threat to their lives. And then so the protest must stop. Now, are we ready in this country? What do you think? First of all, let me get your own view as regards this issue of suspending the protest.
Did you expect anything different from that? You see, the protest is more or less to fulfill all righteousness, being leaders of the pressure group.
How would you begin a protest and all of a sudden you just call it over and say everybody should go home? Somebody wants to kill you.
That is that political angle to it. They are playing politics with labor movements and issue of protests, which is very, very unfortunate. People in labor movements are not supposed to have political leanings or affiliation. It's supposed to be for activists, those who will lead without having anything sympathy with any political party or political interests. But what we are seeing today, is it towing that line? Because if you are in the forefront of labor movements, you can look at President eyeball to eyeball, and tell him things the way they are, without fearing whose ox is God. That you're talking to President and you are frowning does not mean that you hate the President. Your expression is just showing the reality on ground, what people are going through. Only this hard time, people are suffering. There's hunger in the land. Prices of goods and services are out of the reach of even the middleman. We're not. That is the middle class. We're not talking of the wretched of the earth. A lot of families can't put 2 or 3 square meals anymore in their houses on a daily basis. So those are things of concern.
Let me quote Ajaero. According to him, members of the public must be made aware of the grievous threats against the leadership of the NLC. This is aimed at intimidating and harassing us into abandoning our choice of democratic expressions through the nationwide protests. According to him, he went further to say that we have been threatened with all manners of consequences that will be meted out to us if we go ahead with the protest. All right, and he went further. I said we were not, however, deterred, as lifting the heavy yoke of suffering upon Nigerian workers and masses left us with no other choice than to press on. He said that during the Tuesday rally in Abuja, we had heard evidence of the importation of provocateurs that were sent in. The NLC president said that the agent provocateurs were mobilized to the protest route and grounds to cause violence and unleash mayhem against peaceful, assembled and protesting Nigerians. God is, however, always a step ahead of enemies of workers and Nigerian people. That was also one of the reasons we had to restructure the second day of the nationwide protest. That was what he said.
Well, he's right to an extent, because day one, things went very smooth, and there wasn't complaint.
Are they going in for this protest, or they are scared of anything? I mean, why come out in the first place?
No, they have to obey the wishes and aspirations of the larger segment of the Labour Congress, you know. So if the people are feeling the hardship so much, they are hungry, they are angry, and there's a way to stem this tide. If you say, look, we are not going to do anything about your yearnings and aspirations, that means you're encouraging them to go behind and begin to think of self-help. And as far as self-help is concerned, it's unlawful. And in good number of times,
self-help,
it gets to the point of violence, because people will now, they will no longer control themselves. They will enter the street and decide to. Therefore, the best thing is to convince them to calm down, that you're going to be their spokesperson.
Do you think NLC will mobilize, remobilize, rearrange, repackage, and then come out strong? Or probably they're just weak and they're just trying to find a way to just let Nigerians know that, you see, we can do this thing, but let's just rethink, let's have a rethink, and let's go this other way and we'll come out again. Is that what it is?
No, it's not necessarily that, because you come to find out that there's always commitment on the part of leadership of all these workers' movements.
Okay.
And they try as much as they can. They are like interface between the government and the workforce. So they will try to balance things, but more or less project the interests of the workers. And that is exactly what they have been doing. Although sometimes, some people, you know, in every situation, you can't please people 100%. Some will still come out and say that, look, some people have compromised, they have collected money, and whatever they are doing is self-seeking. It is not 100% correct to go around on that assumption, you know, because some of them are doing it with all the attendant risk, and they are doing it with their mind. You see, they want to leave a legacy that time was. When you are making reference to people like Tai Sholare Ganefa Wemi and so on and so forth, Bekora and Kuti. Some of them will want to make a mark so that in future they will add them. They can add Adam Soshomole and maybe Ajero and so on and so forth. Though that of Adam, at a point, people are wondering whether he merits to be listed in the Hall of Honor of Fame for labor movement. Because in his heydays, between 1999 and 2007, he tried. He did well. But immediately he entered the government house in Benin in 2008. The template changed completely. That the man that was used to wearing a khaki shirt and khaki shorts, being a tailor, professionally is a tailor, has turned around now to begin to wear safari and drive around in G-Wagon and so, as alleged anyway. So he has tasted the sweetness of being in power, So the thing now is, when you look at the labor and the leaders, what will come to your mind that is this: some could be sincere, but their percentage obviously will be low. Then the other segment, the larger percentage, is self-seeking. They are doing all these things to see whether they'll call them and say, oh yeah, come. Package this for the boys. So that they will know what to do. When they get back, they will know how to address the larger workers.
Okay.
So it is also a possibility that things like that happen. And they will be growing fat and coming the other side to begin to tell them, calm down, we are on top of the situation.
I want to chip in this Oronsai report quickly to this issue. NLC President George Area said that if that report is going to play out, if that report is going to be worked on, that a whole lot of workers will lose their job. In his words, there will be massive job losses. What do you think? I mean, people are now scared. Some persons are scared. If you do this thing, then the effect is going to be great on the masses.
That assumption or presumption is not correct.
Tell us.
You see, if you look at the report and the postulations, it is advising the government to match a good number of ministries and even scrap some of them that have bloated the structure, the civil service structure in reference to ministries, departments, and agencies. So if they say they are going to implement that, they are not talking of throwing people out of job. That's not the intention. The intention is that some of the core responsibilities of government is being duplicated and in some cases replicated, performing the same functions and thereby exacerbating the cost of governance. In other words, if they merge and scrape some, that does not mean that people will go home. They will absorb them and redistribute them within the existing civil service structure.
Okay.
The only thing there is that those who are due for exit will accordingly be exited by way of voluntary retirements. You will not say because they are margin that and you have aged 60 or you have done 35 years. You say no, because they are margin. If I go now, that means I've been relieved of my duty. Naturally, you could have taken your exit. So the only thing there is, if they match, okay, let me give you one instance. They now say let them match Code of Conduct Bureau, ICPC
and EFCC
to become one. They will profile everybody in the three agencies and sift the thing and separate the chaff from the wheat. Those that are fitted in will continue. Those that are fitted out could be taken to other ministries to continue to pursue their career, and from there they will now take their exit from public service.
Okay.
You understand what I'm saying?
Sure.
But at the same time, where they will now focus more is at the point of entry. The new existing agencies, ministries, departments, and all that will now cut down the number of people they are going to engage. So if before you used to engage between 1,000 or 2,000 people annually into the civil service, the thing will cut down by half this time around, maybe by 50%. It doesn't mean that once they're married, the people in those departments will be thrown out and say go home.
Look at it. Senator Shehu Sani also had something to say as regards these particular Oronsai report. Now, I'm now talking Oronsai report now.
Okay.
Right? I'm into this now.
Okay.
Now, he said that the report is so obsolete that it needs to be updated before the government can implement it. Like it's old school. A lot of things are wrong with that report now. The report is outdated, according to him.
Well, I wouldn't fault him saying that, because the committee was set up in 2011, and by the time they were done was 2014, and that was 10 years back. And between that time and now, we had Jonathan on board, the then president, who set it up, and Buhari had done his 8 years and gone. Each and every one of them was scared to implement the contents of that report. Our reason being political. They were always thinking of the next election so that the thing would not affect them in their political pursuits. And you can see that self-centeredness or self-seeking tendencies of our politicians. They are not even interested in the next generation. Their concern is the next election. Because if they had been altruistic and nationalistic and they've been patriotic, they would have held the bull by the horn way back to 2014, 2015 and begin to work on the Oresania's report. By now, we won't be talking about Oresania again. Maybe we would have had a new committee to be headed by Ekami Judy and to be constituted with other people with very hot gray matter in their upstairs to begin to either retune, as some people are beginning to say, like Shehu Sani, senator, or to update and upgrade whatever are the contents of that 800-page document of Stephen Oresanya.
All right, but then the same report we're talking about, some people are saying that it is a scam in its entirety. It is scam. It cannot work. Federal government is just trying to buy time. We're just trying to deviate a little from the issue that later on we'll still come back to the same issue. That is not, we shouldn't be talking about Oronsanya's report at this point in time. Can you add flesh to that?
You see, in every side of the pendulum, people are always seen from different perspectives. Some see it as a good thing, and coming at this point in time, we have severe hardship and aggressive hunger in the land. But at the same time, some others too see it as diversionary tactics, so that people will forget about the core issue on ground, which is a hardship as well as the poverty, the debilitating poverty level we are having. They want to divert the attention of the people and get the people engaged more in the Oresanya thing. Whether the thing will move forward or will move backward, then they will be bidding their time, waiting for another thing to come up with, so that as soon as the Oresanya issue dies, they will come up with another bombshell. That's how some see it, and believe that those are political gimmicks by the key actors.
But then there's an information here. It says House of Representatives today constituted a 23-man committee to study the progress proposed restructuring of the federal government agencies in line with the Stephen Oresanya report. 23 man to look into this report and then do something with it.
Yes, they are saddled with the responsibility of oversight functions, as the legislature is an arm of the government. So there's nothing wrong in setting up 23-man committee. If they like, they can double it to 46-man committee. The most important thing is that let them come out with something that will be in the general interests and the betterment of the Nigerian nation in relation to the contents of Stephen Oresanya's committee report. That's what is very, very key and important.
Okay.
And the bottom line is that we want to cut the cost of governance. You see, I don't believe in the scenario or situation where you are telling people one thing and you are doing another thing. We say we are going to cut the cost of governance. Recently, it's been speculated again that even this trip to Qatar by Mr. President, that is likely not less than 46 people will be accompanying the president to Qatar. So what are those 46 people going to do in that place? It's alleged to. I'm not saying specifically that is what is the fact. Until they go and come back, nothing is hidden. We'll still see the whole detail. But they say they sized it into 2 tranches. 23 will move first by 29th of February. Then another 23 people will move maybe by 1st of March. Then all of them will now converge at Doha in Qatar. Now, the question is, what are the 46 people from one country
going to do
in that place? Because there's no way they will become, how do I call them, that nationalistic, that they will say, no, don't bother about Esther Code, don't bother about our welfare. We love this country, we are very patriotic. We are only going there to contribute and learn and tap from other participants, and then see how we will move Nigeria to the next level, or at least get things improved around here. So we are not babies. People shouldn't tell us stories. But anyway, all those things are allegations. Let us see. By the time they go and come, we will see the list and the number of people that would have gone.
All right. Thank you so very much, CP. Don't worry, I'll get to open up the studio lines now. All right, as quickly as possible. But then don't forget that the WhatsApp number is the WhatsApp line is open: 081-717-56338. 081-717-56338. Again, 081-717-56338. That's the WhatsApp number to send all of your messages to, and then we'll read it one by one. Okay? Yeah. Peter Obi said something recently. He was talking about the NPR. He said he actually criticized the recent decision of the Monetary Policy Committee to increase the monetary policy rate to 22.5% and cash ratio reserve to 45%, saying it will worsen or further worsen the economic situation of Nigerian households. What do you think? I mean, what's your take on this?
you can find out that a lot of things happening in the central bank.
22.75% interest rate will worsen economic situation, according to Peter Obi.
You come to find out that what is happening in central bank is what we describe as one step forward, 2 steps backward. They are doing a lot of trials and error to see whether that could solve the problem. But all those fire brigade approach they are bringing are not really helping matters. You see, the thing is this, the CBN, the way it functions as an institution is completely different from the way you run the ministries in the public service. And at the same time, it is completely different from the way the commercial banks run. The commercial banks are profit-driven enterprises. The civil service are just there to support the government and carry out its policies and implementation and all that. The central bank is there to regulate the activities of the banks, of the commercial banks. And at the same time, they are expected to be economic managers for the nation through its fiscal and monetary policies. So all these rates they are bringing, today they will bring this method, the thing fails, tomorrow they change. So they have become chameleonic. And that is what I mean by being doing a kind of trial and error thing. Let us try this and see whether it's going to work. And at the same time, the thing, when they do it, it compounds the situation again. They run back.
Exactly what Peter Obi is saying.
It compounds the situation. They run back. Because if you look at them, the caliber and quality of people there, you see that many of them are politicians. In as much as they are not illiterates, they are grounded in their various professional fields, but they are not fitted to be where they find themselves today. Some of them. It's not because you have gone to university, you would have read finance, or you would have read economics, or you read accounting. Then they carry you and you have held positions in government. Then they carry you overnight, put you in CBN. It is meant for career central bank personnel who would have stayed in the system for years and have attended to trainings and courses both at home and abroad. And they know the nitty-gritty of what to do. And when they come out and do those things, you now see very positive changes and results. So until we get to bring in such people and maintain them there, devoid of politicking, then we are not really going to the next level from what I'm seeing.
Okay. VOP 90.3 FM. Like I said, we'll move quickly so we could get to open up the studio lines as fast as possible. There is this statement by Gowon, that is everyone has been talking about. Yeah, everyone has just been talking about it. As regards, like I said, Gowon's statement, some people says have or can ignite crisis, and Igbo leaders are demanding for an apology. Let me give you a breakdown. The former governorship candidate of the Labour Party, right? Yeah, did I say Labour Party? A former governorship candidate of Justice Must Prevail Party, JMPB, in Abia State, Charles Okechukwu Okereke, has advised former heads of state, General Kubu Gowon, to immediately apologize to the Igbo nation and Nigerians in general for his recent statement at the Aso Rock Villa. Now, the apology, he said, would calm the minds of the people who, according to Okereke, felt offended by the statement attributed to Gowon. The former head of state was recently quoted as saying what Gowon said now. I know, and if I can remember, when I was fighting the war, I was told I was too slow and probably Nigeria cannot make it, and that we should seek discussion. Well, did we do it or not? That was what he said. Now, according to sources in Umuahia yesterday, the former governorship candidate advised General Gowon as an elder statesman to refrain from making statements that may make Igbo and other Nigerians to start remembering the ugly war episodes of the past. Okereke said that Nigerians were going through terrible economic hardship, pointing out that the uncomplimentary words from a highly placed citizen like Gowon could cause more outrage. Now, I want to go back to that statement that Gowon made. He said, I know, and if I can remember, that when I was fighting the war, I was told I was too slow and probably Nigeria cannot make it, and that we should seek discussion. Well, did we do it or not? I was too slow when I was fighting the civil war. I was too slow, and people were asking if Nigeria can make it fighting the war. All right, and that we should seek discussion instead. He said, well, did we do it or not? And that is what this man is saying, that Gowon needs to apologize to Igbo. Now, you are a keeper of history. You are an embodiment of history. I want you to help us go back in time. Let's understand, for the purpose of the younger generation who might not remember all that took place, everything that happened, the role General Yakubu Gowon played then, and how everything metamorphosed into, the war, and all of those things that happened, the intrigues, everything that took place. I just want you to give us a little breakdown of that statement, and why some people feel that Yakubu Gowon should apologize to Igbo. Just within a few moments. Just help us with that, quickly.
No, you see, the thing is this. When Gowon took over, 1st of August 1966, he was a young man. He was a lieutenant colonel, and he was barely 32 years old. And he was full of inexperience.
Inexperience?
Oh, yes. He was full of inexperience. At that age, he has never...
32 years?
32 years. He had never held a position in public service. He was just a military man who had been doing courses and trainings. He was a Sandos trained officer. And as the war progressed, he went to Aburi. The then president of Ghana called all of them to come for a round table to discuss on the way forward for the Nigerian crisis. Chukwuemeka Odumegwu Ojukwu then, who was also in his early 30s, about 32 plus, was the Biafran head of state and was also a lieutenant colonel in the Nigerian army. He came to Aburi with Gowon and all other military governors, Ejo from Southwest, Adeyinka Adebayo, Ejo from Midwest, Adeyinka Adebayo from the then Western region came. Then Hassan Usman Katsina from the north, Kaduna, also came. After they had spoken, brought out issues, then as they were going, they took some of the career civil servants who were there to guide them on areas that should be looked at and harmonized. They came out with 5-point agenda of how they will implement, and each region should kind of be a little bit stronger, detached, while the center will be there to oversee things and calm the situation down. And then the compensations that will be given to those who were affected by way of pogroms and so on and so forth. By the time they came back, the Federal Executive Council in Lagos now called him and said that what you went there to do was only to go and drink champagne. That you people were aloof. You didn't even know that Ojukwu is very, very clever. He's an Oxford-trained graduate, and he dribbled all of you and had his way. Look at the 5 points that was given to him. That there's no way the thing is not implementable. And Gowon accepted their position, hook, line, and sinker, and said, well, he was going to partially execute or accept 2 out of the 5 points. And Ojukwu was shocked with his delegation from the Eastern region. And they said, no, how can we go and sign papers? We have our documents, and you're telling us you can't implement the 5-point agenda, that we're not accepting it. And that was that word, on Aburi we stand. That was the slogan in the Eastern region throughout the war. So as things continue to degenerate, this one, he was saying that it was too slow. There is nothing he could have done than what he did. Slow in what sense? There was no way he could have overrun the East. It was impossible. It's like what is happening in Ukraine and Russia. This man said, Putin said he will within 1 week overrun Ukraine. What are we seeing? Since February 2022, we are heading to 2 years plus now. He has not been able to overrun that. That's what happened in the Nigerian crisis of 1966. Okay, 66 to 70.
70s.
To 70. The actual war started on 6th July 1966, and ended on 12th of January 1970. Though the surrender document was finished on 15th January 1970, and that's why they are using that as their Armed Forces Remembrance Day, because it tallies with 15th of January 1966, when they had the coup of Zogwa and so on and so forth. So what am I trying to say? He said it was police action that he was going to take from Nsukka, Gakem, Ogoja axis against the Igbos. And the thing turned out to be full-scale war, but they were shocked to their marrow that when they got there, there was colossal loss of federal troops, that they never knew that the Biafran armed forces was ready, that they had been training, even though they didn't have enough arms and ammunition. But they had the intelligence, they were on ground, and they prepared themselves. So that was what made them, that they now had to go back, began a lot of propaganda in the north, even began to import people from Chad, those Chadian Godo, people from Niger. They were recruiting them into the Nigerian armed forces with a view to go down to the east and wipe out the Igbos. It's documented. It is a statement of fact.
You're very sure?
Very certain. The books are there. I read more than 12 books on the crisis of Nigerian Biafran conflict. Some written by Oyibos. They are there in the libraries. Some written by Nigerians themselves. So the man should not even revisit that part of history to get the people with sores and pains all over them to begin to come back again, to bring back that memory. It is time. I had expected him as an octogenarian to be talking of his praise. He's causing Nigeria praise, his prayers, and seeking for reconciliations and trying to bring unity amongst the various religious, regional, and tribal groups in Nigeria. Not coming to tell us trash.
You're always saying that, I think you've said this a couple of times, that General Yakubu Gowon came into office with no experience. Absolutely no experience.
His experience was only in military field. He knew nothing about public administration or the way government is run. So they were only guiding him, do this, he was okay. Do that, he was okay. Suddenly he will reverse certain decisions they are taking. So he was at the whims and caprices of some of those foxy and crafty career civil servants and old politicians, because he surrounded himself too with some of those old politicians. I don't want to mention names, but Nigerians know those people I'm talking about, who were either, though at a point they were guiding him well, all right, at certain points they brought in maybe malice to it, because how can somebody say that the best instrument for war is hunger, that is starvation, and total blockade? That was what capitulated Biafra between 1969, late November, December 1969 to early January 1970. Otherwise, Biafra on their own, in fact, it is grace of God that they survived, because they were strangulated totally. There is nothing they didn't do to survive. They were producing their arms and ammunition, including the deadly Ogbunigwe. They were refining their petroleum, the petroleum products they were using in their vehicles. It remained for them to manufacture vehicles during the Civil War. They were turning vehicles to armored personnel carriers and for troop carriage during the Civil War. That is turning from nothing to something. And these are people, after the war, you say you're doing reconstruction, rehabilitation, and reconciliation. How far? At the end of the day, you gave them 20 pounds. Whether you used to have 1 million pounds before, 20 pounds, based on advice of the so-called economic experts and advisors
at that time.
And yet, they resurrected just like the phoenix resurrected from the ash. And by the grace of God, they turn out today formidable as a people and as a group. And furthermore, they were trying to still wake up from the battering they suffered during the crisis. You brought the indigenization decree in 1974 to strip them of having any control or ownership in all the major industries and multinationals that were foreign in Nigeria that were being indigenized. They because you felt they don't have money to buy into those shares that were being sold as at that time. And then what happened later? By dint of hard work and by the grace of God, they still bounced back and still bought over most of those shares. It's there. It's on record. So I think we have passed that. And okay, 50-something years going, 54 years post-war till now. Can you come out and say that, look, we have been very fair to these people based on what they suffered during the Civil War? I have not seen much to be shown on that. Rather, all the people from that region who said, okay, since there is federal character with a system, let us join public service, let us join the security service, military, and so on and so forth. How did they go through them and come out? They are vilified, they are hated, they are badly discriminated against in all these systems, unless you have a godfather. They want to give you the worst of postings. They will deny you promotions because you're from that part of the country. I mean, it is...
While you were a commissioner of police,
yes,
did you pass through these hurdles you just mentioned?
I saw hell. The day I'll do my memoirs, Nigerians will be shocked. I saw hell. Not just as CP, from my ASP till I got to commissioner of police. At a point, I was in a posting. I had barely spent 3 months. And the Inspector General of Police came there. On just seeing me, an Igbo man in that place, he ordered that I should be removed immediately and taken to one place, a dead end, and bring his own brother to be there. It happened live in 2012. And everybody was shocked, including my Commissioner of Police there. And I told him that this is not the end of life. And apart from that, so many experiences. When they see you that you're going, oh, they've posted him to a place that was good, they'll say, what? No, that place is not for his people now. It's not for him. Remove him and put our person there. They'll carry you fear to one place where you'll just be looking at the fires and working with fires. I suffered it. And not only me, many people from that part of the country, they suffered it. Was I not denied my promotion to AIG? Clearly, the staff list is still there. It's open. I will publish it. Time is coming. The election has come and gone. Nigerians will see. I wasn't only the victim. Some of us from certain region was denied by the former Inspector General of Police. But he was busy picking his own people, from northwest, northeast, fixing them and getting them promoted. Our juniors, over and above us. It happened live. I can go on and on and on to length. What are we talking about? But thank God, things will change for the coming generation. I'm sure the present IG is not towing that line at all. He's doing it on seniority and merit. Once you get it, the vacancies are there. He push all of you, collect the ranks. It's not from his father's pocket that he's going to pay. So he's not looking at whether you come from northwest or you come from southeast or south. He will give you your due, you take and go. But we never saw such things in our own time. It was a terrible thing. Very terrible thing. But Nigerians are going to know, because I'll make sure I will not only publish them, I will publish statement of facts the way they are. I don't believe in sentiments or trying to lick boots or trying to distort things. No. What do I gain by doing that? Once you come to tell the truth the way it is, you are hated. They'll say, who gave this one guts to be? Which cause is he championing? This thing is our own thing. We'll be doing it the way we like. But it's not like that. The policies are clear, the provisions are clear. How you do those things. But some people will circumvent them.
I love the fact that, that's why I want to give you the ample time to get to shed more light on all of these issues.
I will. Absolutely.
And all of this go on issue. I love the way you went.
Yes.
Right? And back to what I was saying.
Yes.
We'll still come back to this issue of favoritism in the structure of things in Nigeria.
Yes, the discrimination, very glaring.
All of this, yeah.
Yes, nepotism and all that.
We'll touch on it, but then let's also look at what Okereke, the former governorship candidate, said.
Yes.
He said that it was wrong for Yakubu Gowon to compare his military administration with President Bola Tinubu, as according to Okereke, Gowon's decision to create a 12-state structure instead of implementing an agreement he signed with Udumegu Ojukwu before the civil war was responsible for the crisis the nation was still facing today.
Yes, you know what happened? When Gowon saw that Ojukwu was not relenting, that he was going ahead to declare the southeastern region, or the eastern region per se by that time, into the sovereign republic of Biafra, he was advised that the way to break the backbone of Ojukwu was to hurriedly divide the country into states, and that once he does that, he has beaten Ojukwu to it. And the Ojukwu did not on his own declare the republic. That's where people are making mistakes. It was the Eastern Regional House of Assembly, because of the tension on ground, and many of their constituents had been slaughtered or massacred, both in the north and in the west, came up and said, look, the best thing is empower Ojukwu to declare Sovereign Republic of Biafra. And they slated a date to be 30th of May, 1967. The then Supreme Military Council now urged Gowon to quickly create the states earlier than that 30th. So that's this Children's Day you have seen on the 27th of May. Of every year.
Yeah.
He now quickly, 3 days before Ojukwu declared Biafra, created 12 states on 27th of May, 1967. That was what happened. That was where he now came, created 3 states out of the eastern region. East Central State for the core Igbo, this present Southeast geopolitical zone. Created Southeastern States that later translated into Cross River and Akwa Ibom states, and then created River State, the older River State that encompasses the present Bayelsa and River State. They did it with a view to tell the so-called minorities who are part of the South today that you are different from those people. Leave those people to carry their war alone.
Okay.
You see the politics there.
Okay.
Then in the West, he created the former Midwest state. He retained it. It was Midwest region. It remained Midwest state with Obemudia. Samuel Obemudia being the governor of the place. He took over from Ejon, who later became the chief of army staff. Then the Western state remained. The Western region became Western state. Then with Lagos. So there were 6 states in the south. Then the northern region, he divided them into 6 states. He had northeastern state with Maiduguri as capital. Had Benue Plateau state with Jos as capital. Had north central state, that is the present Katsina and Kaduna states, as one of the states. Had northwestern state with Sokoto as the state capital. Had Kano state, he carved out Kano. And finally created Kwara state, which comprises of the present Kogi and Kwara states. So there was 6 states in the north, 6 in the south. So he said, okay, with this, let us see how Ojukwu is going to fare. And people were expecting that there would have been restraint, whereby he would call back the federal troops and go into this negotiation that is talking now with the 2 sides. There should have been a ceasefire that would have mitigated or reduced the number of casualties and all this kwashiorkor, starvation that children, mothers and aged parents suffered and died of during the Civil War. It was genocide. The man, Gowon, should keep quiet and let the sleeping dog lie. Because I know that in certain climes, some people could have gone to Hague to demand that the man should face war crimes. They would have demanded for it. And I'm sure if they pressed for it, they would have asked Gowon to come there to defend himself. Because a lot of people, that's why I say he should forget about raising these old wounds. Because people that lost everything they had, property, family members, the surviving ones will package these things and go to Hague.
I want to also quote Okereke.
Yes.
Verbatim.
Yes.
At this point in time.
Yes.
He said, why is he comparing himself with Tinubu? This is supposed to, he is supposed to have retired. He should not remind us of what has been forgotten.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
He owes Indigo and Nigerians an apology, and he should do that now. There is no comparison between Gowon's military junta and Tinubu's civilian administration. His 3 RX, or his 3 R's.
Yes.
Good.
Reconciliation.
Yeah.
Rehabilitation and reconstruction, rehabilitation, and reconciliation. 3 of them.
3 R's.
Yes.
It's not true.
Yes.
According to what he said.
That's what
he said. When he visited us at Government House after the war, he spoke from an armored car. Is Tinubu speaking from an armored car? So why the comparison? He queried. Okereke said that the ongoing moves to amend the Nigerian constitution were a pointer that many things were wrong with the Nigerian General Gowon bequeathed to his predecessors in office. He said that it was wrong for Gowon to say that Nigerians who were hungry do not really understand the problem on the ground. The All Hail Biafra anthem composer made it clear that the military administration of General Gowon failed to reconcile Nigerians and was not qualified to advise the citizen administration.
Exactly. Is he a Democrat? Gowon should let the sleeping dog lie and thank God for even enjoying the status he's enjoying today. You know, in 1976, 13th February, when Murtala Mohammed was killed, Obasanjo came and dismissed Gowon from the Nigerian army. He became just like any other person. It was Shehu Shagari in late 1981 and 82 that granted him amnesty, himself and Chukwuemeka Odumegwu Ojukwu, who was in Cote d'Ivoire, himself was in London, that they are now free citizens. And they came back and were just civilians like any other person. It was Ibrahim Babangida in 1986, out of sympathy, said no, it's not good for this man, after being military head of state for 9 years, he will just be moving around as Dr. Yakubu Gowon. He now restored that general that Obasanjo dismissed him in 1976. 10 years after, and say, okay, you are back as General Yakubu Gowon. They should pay him all his entitlements and allowances and whatever that has been stopped for the past 10 years. So they calculated and pay him. Is that not enough for him to be seeking for peace and be talking things that will move people forward? He's now trying to resurrect the pains and the wounds the people from East, the then Eastern Nigeria, suffered. It's not only Igbo, so the other minorities suffered similar things. I'm sure they are just keeping quiet now because some of them are lucky to have Niger Delta oil and they are enjoying 13% derivation. That's why they are not really making noise about it.
CP, I'm sure the way you're talking, some persons might just be, vexed, to a certain level.
Yes, people from that part of the country, they will.
Okay, maybe we should get to, I want to use this to put a smile on their faces at this point in time, and I want to relate what is happening in Abia currently.
Yes,
we hear that residents of Aba in Abia State are celebrating 48 hours of uninterrupted power supply following the installation of the geometric power plant. CP.
Yes.
What do you have to say?
No, well,
beautiful one, right?
It's a good one. It's a good. They have added so much megawatts into the national grid. And it is to the advantage of people around that place. And it will help in spurring up industries will begin to sprout now. The dead ones and new ones will come in on board.
48 hours.
That's the beginning.
I think it's the first in history. I mean,
that's the beginning. More will come.
It has never happened before. Has it happened before anywhere in Nigeria?
It's well.
Whoa. It's a big one. It's a big one. Congratulations if you are from Abia. It's a great one. It's a great one. Congratulations to everyone. And so I would want to open up the studio lines quickly now so we can talk about all of these issues and even more. Nigeria goes still better. Some people are so very sure that one day this nation is going to be so united and so strong together. Just the other day, some persons were saying, imagine, look at how poverty united Nigeria just recently. No food anywhere. People are so united. Now you know that nobody's buying fuel for 120 naira. Everybody's buying fuel at the same price. So we see now we're going actually 0700 903 903 903 is the number to call. Keep it civil, please. It's very, very civil. In fact, I need it today, like so very much. Keep it civil, and 60 seconds for everyone. We'll have a whole lot of calls to take. It's been coming in like back to back. Okay, so keep it civil. Keep it 60 seconds, and please move away from your radio set before you call, or just turn down the volume the way I would always say. Thank you so very much. Let's do this one. Good afternoon to you. Hello.
Hello, Mr. Chidi. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you. What's your name and where you calling from?
Yeah, my name is Emmanuel, calling from Lagos State.
Are you from Abia State?
Yeah, I'm from Abia State, but I'm in Lagos.
All right, let's go. Talk to us.
Yeah, Mr. Chidi, I'm so happy. I'm just listening to what that Baba is saying. I'm so interested. I was very, 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 very interested. All the things you just said is what happened exactly in that years. I'm a little guy, but I heard about the history. I know what every Igbo guy suffered in that days. Anyway, but things in the ground nowadays, I don't know if this country is going to turn around and become the Aspen before. I don't know. Because I'm so surprised. Things is increasing day by day, and whatever that increase in this country will not even come down. I don't even understand, Chidi. We don't even know if this country are going front or they are coming back, because things are very, very constant. Hungry in the ground. Anyway, I want to use the opportunity to thank my honorable governor of the state for what he did. I'm so happy.
Yeah.
That is a very, very good history and very, very first thing in the life about seeing. Thank you very much.
Thank you so very much. Appreciate your call. Good afternoon to you.
Yeah, good afternoon. Jude.
Yeah.
Mr. Civil.
Good afternoon.
Yeah. Mr. Chus, good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you too.
Yeah. Let me congratulate the governor of Abia State for doing a very wonderful job for giving the Aba people life.
What is your name? Where are you calling from?
My name is Tony Chukwole.
Calling from where?
From UK.
Okay. Let's go. Talk to us quickly.
Yeah. So, Chus has said what I wanted to say. The one should let somebody advise him to keep the mouth shut, not to go on that angle, because normally he's supposed to be in the Hague and for so many things. That's where he's supposed to have been. Let him stop waking up the wound. I know the one my family faced. Just let him stop opening up the wound. I know the one, even my daddy, the bullet in sustain is still there. I know, so let him stop opening up the wound and let the sleeping dog lie, because normally he's supposed to be at Hague answering for those things. It was a genocide, it was a slaughter. The person that the engineer Royumeni, who among the people who manufactured that Obunigwe, all of them, the family, there are so many people who went through terrible agony during that time. Just the man should try and do what, like, let him tune down and stop making that comment. We are no longer there.
It's all right. Let's leave it there.
Thank you.
Appreciate your call. 0700 903 903 903. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
Yes, good afternoon.
How are you, sir?
Great.
Yes, my name remains Joseph Okite Okobasa, and I'm calling you from the Bokono area of Lagos State this beautiful afternoon.
All right.
How are you, my commissioner?
I'm good. Good day to you.
God bless you, sir. I so much appreciate, and my heart is full of joy this afternoon that we still have men who has this history at the back of their palms. I used to be very angry. whenever I remember what happened, I used to be enraged. I used to be very angry. But I thank you. When you talked about how the Igbos were giving the 20 pounds and how they were able to take over those multinationals from scratch, do you know what it does to me? It gives me hope that even at this time that I'm going through hell, that I can actually become one of those who could make out things from a 20 pounds that was given to them to impoverish them further. I thank you so much. God bless you.
Thank you.
And for Abia State, I can tell you, sir, that I'm most delighted to be from Abia State at this time. There is a post up and running on X from one of the comedians. I will mention his name, Basket Mouth. He tweeted something this morning about Abia State and about the former governors. He says that the former governors should really be ashamed of themselves. How can they sleep when they see what the now governor Alex Oti is doing? It shows you that those men were not up to ordinary local government chairman and different councillors to rule Abia State. Abia State was the most backward state, and for 24 hours, Abia State can enjoy electricity and just go to Abia State from that tower. We come to Abia State all through into Opera Square. You can see that that road has been dualized. Compensation duly paid. You cannot see anyone on social media where anybody is complaining that he was not paid. People were paid completely. It's not only power plants. They were paid and compensated adequately. Go to that Port Harcourt road. I was not in the very day he took the Las Vegas to that Port Harcourt road, and then the government of Ibadan was complaining. That is the man who knew. That is what he has that the president doesn't have. That was the man who knew exactly where he must start if he gets to office. So he started even before he got into office.
Okay.
Thank you very much. God bless you.
Thank you so very much. I begin to look at his second term. How it's going to look like. I mean, it's like a walkover. Like
exactly.
You
That's what I
understand?
foresee too. I foresee the same. Too.
Because you wonder who is going to fight this thing now with him.
Exactly.
You understand? If he continues like this.
Yes, I had worked in Abia before, and by the time I was leaving Abia, most of the roads were right off during TA or this time. They were impassable. So it's exactly a good thing that it's happening to the place now.
It's all right. Let's talk to you. Good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon, Jude.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, CP Choose. This is John Legend.
Good afternoon, John Legend.
Yes, sir. You see, some people talk out of experience. I could remember because I am up to 50-something years now. I could remember what my father told me during the day. My father, the three of them, there were 4 boys. My father lost his brother in Kano before even the war. They just killed him there before the war. And my father told me his 3 sisters died during the war. Even his mother died during the war. So I can remember so many of our family members that died during the war. My father don't forget that history until the day he died. So when they're talking of war, people are talking of war in Nigeria. That was not that was a genocide. What they did to Igbos, we lost most of our prominent and our family, even me, my family members, all of them died in the war. Secondly, in Abia State, I thank God for TJ. What is his name? LXOT. He will do very well because I know Abia State has not produced even right from Governor Onu. Because I remember when Onu was a governor, he removed Iboko, the local government chairman that time in Aba North, because Iboko was doing more better than him. He has to remove him so that he will not bring a dent to his name. That is why Iboko was removed, because Iboko that time was one of the best local governments in Abia State. That period of time, the time of Governor Onu. Because why? Most of the Abian governors, the Abia have never produced a good governor from the one, except this one now. I thank God for him. I know he do well. Right. Thank you very much.
Thank you so very much, John Legend, for talking to us this afternoon. Okay, several messages coming in also, but then let me get to open up WhatsApp. Let me call out the WhatsApp numbers again, so you could send in your messages in case I'm not able to take your call. 0817-175-6338. Again, 0817-175-6338. 081-717-56338. That's the number. Just send in your messages and we'll get to read it as quickly as possible. Okay, let me see if I can touch on some messages here. Should I or take more calls first of all? Let's see if we can take more calls first. The number to call is 0700 903 903 903. That's the number to call. 0700 903 903 903. Like I said, please make sure you keep it so very civil. Very, very civil, so we can talk, or else we will not be able to talk. Okay, I think I'm pushed to want to read some of these messages quickly first before I take these calls. Good evening. Tinubu brought up or also a report to distract and divert attention of Nigerians from the protest and actually plaguing the nation. This government does not have anything to offer. It's a pity, from Mazi TC. Okay, let's see if we can touch some more messages at this point in time. Don't worry, I'll take your calls. Just keep them coming in, huh? Yeah. This person is saying, what are you trying to say? I don't think this government has a solution to solve, what did you say? To solve this problem they created to Nigerians. Always looking for who to blame for these failures. It's okay. Good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon, Mr. Kami.
Good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon, my honorable.
Good afternoon to you. Good afternoon.
Thank you. I want to use this medium to send my application.
You calling from Italy, right?
I'm calling from Italy.
Beautiful. I don't want to
Can you hear me, please?
I can hear you.
Oh, okay, it's me, Bright. Okay. I said I want to thank the CP. You know, I pray, and my prayer is for God to give him more years and to have him around us as we that are the upcoming Nigerians, the youth, so that we will be able to have a well-informed foundation of our culture, of our history. Because it's very difficult these days to find people like CP of his age that are very, very vast in international and our local information. Because a lot of things are happening in Nigeria today that you see some old men, they are now out of track because they are corrupt. What they are supposed to say, they don't say it because they are thinking of what they will eat, but they've forgotten that whatever they have planted down for the young ones to grow with, it will enable a prosperous environment for the future. You see, me, I'm from Benin. I'm a Benin man, but I'm married to an Igbo woman from Imo State, or Onoguta precisely. You see, the history he was relaying before. He was just taking me through what happened in the Biafran era. And though I was not born during those times, but I have not been able to really get an articulated story about what really happened. And the Nigerian situation today does not give any youth, whether you are from Biafra, whether you are from the north, whether you are from the south, does not give you the atmosphere to really know what is the foundation, what happened, what transpired, so that we will be able to know how to embrace things that will look like that in the future, so that we can comprehend and understand ourselves, so that we don't find ourselves in such a crisis again. But you see, lately, what we are having in Nigeria is almost repelling to what happened before during the Biafra time, because the politicians, the institutions who are supposed to, enlighten the people about their past is no more there, because the politicians have been able to push everything out that nobody really know what is going on anymore. Nobody have the fact. Everybody's arguing with each other. This one is defending himself. The other one is defending himself. But if the institutions are there built on the basis of what has happened around that environment called Nigeria, everybody will be able to know when things are wrong and how to go about it. Then I want to use this opportunity to also tell the Biafrans, the people from the east, to have this they should have this kind of it's not all about, sometimes when we argue and try to prove a point, it doesn't change anything. But when we start building, when we start putting ourselves together, people will now start understanding that we have a journey to make. I think it's hard time the Biafrans, because of what they've passed through, they start building a kind of a museum, a history, a movement, like an understanding movement of people know how to build themselves, people that can tell them what has happened, people that can put them through all these events, so that people will grow well. And it's not about forgetting the people who we lost during those times, but we can always kind of remember them peacefully, kind of use that that strength to build another strong economy for themselves. Look at what is happening today now. Everybody's happy because what the man is doing is good, and it's also an opportunity for us to know that everybody should hold their governors in their state accountable. It's not about looking at Tinubu all the time. Tinubu, no, look at what Abia State is doing. It's getting allocation from the federal government. So everybody should not just always say, Tinubu is bad, but we should also start to hold the people in the grassroots accountable of all their spendings and how they spend. Okay. So that is my contribution. I appreciate the discussion this afternoon. Yeah. It's really very interesting. Thank you so much.
Thank you so very much for calling. I appreciate you. Okay. Of course, we will take your calls. Good afternoon to you. Everybody should not just always say that. Hello, good afternoon.
Yeah, this is Richard from Germany. Good afternoon, Ikami, Judah Ikami.
Good afternoon to you.
Your name is wonderful. Sometimes it's like, wow, what kind of name is this? Very, very, very sweet. My CP, good afternoon.
Good afternoon,
this is for me. today has made my day. What CP said today, honestly, I never expected to hear it on Nigeria radio. CP has made my day, and God bless him, keep him alive.
Amen.
And let us read his memo. I believe it's not going to be long. And God should protect voice of the people. This radio is awesome. Since I discovered this radio, I've even stopped listening to other radios, because this is where you hear the truth and nothing but the truth.
Yes.
What CP said today is the fate of Igbo man in Nigeria. Do you know why Biafra genocide is not recognized? Because Britain was involved. Britain was involved. If you go to Canadian War Museum, what is written there is the forgotten story of Biafran genocide. In Canadian Museum, that is open there. If you come to Cologne is here in Germany.
Yes.
If you go to the museum, you will see where it is written genocide from Biafra. But do you know why it's not popular in Nigeria? Because of the involvement of the British. That is why it's not hard. And the conspiracy of other people against Igbo people in Nigeria. It has not stopped. Look at what a young man, look at when I listen to CP, because I've not had any police officer speaking like pure English, crystal clear English like him. I've not had anybody. Look at the way he was treated. My cousin, who was a major in the military, Rukuba Barak. If this man opened his mouth and tell you his history, you will know that Nigeria, I ask myself, does Nigeria really want Igbos? If this young man, and he retired as a colonel, but before he could retire, in fact, his juniors were already major generals. He just retired about 3 years ago. So what Igbos are going through in Nigeria is unbelievable. And that's still going up to today. See, as we speak, an Igbo man just said, if government is not going to protect us, let me call IPOB to protect us in Lagos. This man is still languishing in the prison in Nigeria. An Islamic cleric called for the head of the divorced lady to be killed in Nigeria. Today he's working freely in the same Nigeria. Let me tell you, no justice, no peace. No peace, no justice. So what we are trying to do in Nigeria is that if you want to be one Nigeria, fine. The war is over. And the one coming to remind us this thing. I'm 58 years. I saw the war. I didn't see the war, but I was born then. I knew what my mother, my sister, my parents, I lost my father during the war. I was 10 months when I lost my father because of the war. So no Igbo man didn't have one or two things to say about this war. And somebody coming up to remind us how he defeated us, I mean, it's very, very unfortunate. And Gowon did not defeat Biafra without the help of other countries. Look at even Nigeria is threatening them. We knew Nigeria are telling Nigerians we know how we fought Biafra war. If these people were not involved in Biafra war, Gowon wouldn't have won the war.
Let's leave it there.
No way.
Let's
so he should please keep quiet. He should please keep quiet and then pray for peace to reign in Nigeria. Not coming and remind not this kind of terrible things Igbos went through.
Thank you so very much.
My brother, God bless you, and thank you for this radio. This radio is awesome. God bless you.
Bless you too. Thank you so very much. Hello, good afternoon to you this afternoon.
Good afternoon, Mr. Jude Kamigude.
Hi, good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon, CP2.
Good afternoon to you.
I'm so grateful for this story that you have given us this afternoon. I'm Mary from Ajawa State.
Okay.
Two pictures. Please, you will try to put this thing in writing, publish, so that our next generation will see something to read and know how Nigeria is. I'm so happy. Though when you were giving this story, I felt like crying, but I heard myself. What you have done this afternoon, God will bless you and give you a long life, so that people will hear that we still have few good Nigerians in this country.
All right.
As for Gowon, that man, he should be ashamed of himself and go and hide his face. What did he go and do in Asoro to take his interview? He should not be talking, because even though they're living like that, people will come to see and to know what he has done. And today, if he pays up his price, instead of talking to them the real way, the correct way, he's doing it to say have patience. When we are buying a pack of spaghetti for 19,000.
Okay.
In fact,
let's leave it there now. Let's leave it there.
Oh my God!
Don't worry. It's okay.
God bless
it's okay.
you.
Bless you too. Bless you too. Thank you so very much.
Yes,
just want to release what Femi Fani-Kayode said. I wish we could just. Our time is fast spent, but then just want to play a little bit of what he said in an interview as regards this Biafra thing. If not that this issue came up, I wouldn't have decided. I just wanted to just let the sleeping dogs lie. But then. Maybe I should let's leave it. Let me know I'm waking anybody this afternoon. Let's leave it. Let's just leave it. I'm not going to play it anymore. I want to say thank you so very much, CP. At this point, I'm forced to leave the studio now.
Yes.
I want to leave the studio. But thank you so very much for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Probably we'll have the time to talk more on Tuesday.
It's all right.
When I invite you again.
It's okay.
Everyone, I want to say thank you. Calls coming in. I am not going to take it. I'm sorry. I have to leave the studio now. I have to leave. Thank you. My name is Jude. On Instagram, Ikamejude. Facebook, Ikamejude. Everywhere, Ikamejude. IKAMIJUDEH. I love you so much, okay? I'll do this tomorrow. Open mic edition. Oh, it's even tomorrow. Open mic. Okay? You can say what you want to say tomorrow, but in a very civil manner, objectively. Thank you. I'm out of here. Good afternoon to you.